Howdy, nerds. This week, we're going into the garbage chute. We've got some more guests with us, and we are talking about, I was going to say The Mandalorian, because I'm excited about The Mandalorian. We're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 4. We have so much to talk about. I'm going to push this button, and stay tuned. All right, thank you for joining us and coming into the garbage chute with us. I'm Tommy D, and tonight we have a fun cast of characters joining us to talk about the Book of Boba, Season 1, Episode 4, and man, is there a lot to talk about. So you are not going to want to miss this. So joining us for the second time from the deep southern rim, Bama, is Dino. How's it going?
Howdy.
Welcome. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me again, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, we've got those crazy guys from World Gone Geek. We've got Jeff in Utah. What's happening, fellas?
Greetings, programs.
How's everything? How's every little thing?
Oh, everything's going great. I'm surprised Dino's still in the southern rim.
Yeah,
well,
I got postponed another week.
Good for you.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trapped in the Sarlacc right now. I know how it feels. I know how.
So is that the southern rim? The Sarlacc is the southern rim.
Yeah.
Just a big
like
gaping maw with tentacles and things.
You know, I have an idea of how you can kill that Sarlacc there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Sonic bomb down the start.
A seismic suppository. That's what he got this week, was a seismic suppository. All right.
Yes.
Let's get into this, man. There was I have to say, pleasantly surprised, very happy with this episode. And for those of you joining us for the first time, yeah, we got spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, don't just look away. Just look away. Don't go away. Just look away. Turn the volume down because we need that view count. I'm just saying.
Hopefully you didn't look at the thumbnail, because I feel that kind of gives a hint. So.
Well, just a tiny hint. Just a tiny hint.
He's got two Boba Fetts on the thumbnail. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
All right, so we've got a lot to discuss. There's a couple things that I want to go over tonight. But first, so Fennec, she had said something during their little fireside chat, and she kind of echoed what a lot of people were saying. You know, she said that his life with the Tuskens made him soft. I was one of those people. I was like, man, he did get soft, but then one speeder bike gang massacre later. And I was like, "Oh man, Boba's back. He's not soft."
He went all Anakin on him.
Woo! Yeah, he did. Yikes! So now that we've gotten a look at that, and now that we're starting to see more of his motivations, why exactly he's doing this, how far do you think he's going to go? I mean, because he's still exhibiting, some of these more political tendencies. It's like he's kind of playing it cool for now, but clearly he's got some other stuff going on in the back of his mind. So where do we think he's going next? Who wants to go?
I love this episode because it's almost as if Favreau expected everybody to be arguing about whether this was the Boba Fett from the movies or not. And then they went and answered like all the questions. Now, they may not be answers people like, but he answered them. So we know that he believes having a tribe is important. We know that he is ready to, settle down. I loved how he put that. It's like, I'm tired of being sent to my death by, people that he doesn't even like, basically, and for money. And he was like, we got to stop doing that. Why not go into business for ourselves? And the one thing I will say, last week I was on the boat that Fennec was gonna was going to betray him at some point, that she was just playing her angle until this week. Now now that we got to see kind of their interaction after he saved her.
You think she's solid?
I don't know. I still don't know. I mean, she still could. I mean, this is, you know, this is the criminal underworld, but it definitely gave me more confidence in her than I had last. You know, I was kind of like, she's, you know, she's his, you know, consigliere, but she's, you know, she still could stick a knife in his back at some point. But when she decided to stick with him, even though, you know, they were done, stuff like that, you know, just little things in this episode made me feel like, okay, well, maybe she's in it for the long haul. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I thought it was great. And I had a great comparison I wanted to share. So Boba Fett was always patterned after Clint Eastwood. Right?
Yeah.
And that's why everybody expects him to be such a badass. And this is still Clint Eastwood. It's just unforgiven Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
He's old. He's ready to kind of like, just, I'm done with this. Not quite unforgiven, because he wants to settle down with his family. So does Boba Fett, but he wants to make money while he does it. So he's,
he wants to settle with a different family.
Yeah, but it's not
different type of
pull
family.
the trigger first and then find out what's going on. You know, he's using a little more sense before he starts blasting away now. No disintegrations anymore, basically.
Yeah, because he did mention that. You know, he did mention the fact that you know, he's tired of, you know, working for idiots that are going to get him killed. You know, now he wants to be in charge of his own destiny. He wants to start calling the shots. So, Dino, what are you thinking about? Where is Fett going with this? Like, how big is he going to go with this?
Well, I am glad that happened, because I took a bunch of notes and a bunch of questions, and just when I was thinking, I was like, yeah, this show I think is definitely more for kids. He goes and just annihilates cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm back in. Let's go kill some people. So there's that, and I mean, I think Fennec, after this episode, I think I'm on the other side. I think it's more likely that she will backstab him.
Interesting.
Really?
Just because they showed that scene, and we had the previous episode so it's kind of like.
Wait, which scene? Which scene are you talking about? That
in the fireside chat in this episode. Yeah. And I forget, last week we talked about her kind of making some comments or some sly whatever that we're like, maybe she's the one that's kind of orchestrating the somewhat of the the attack and stuff.
Where she said, "I'll do some jobs for you, but I'm an independent contractor. I enjoy my freedom."
Well, that was from this episode. Dino's talking about last week.
Oh, last week. Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about the other stuff that we mentioned about last week. Of
how
she
seemed
was
a little
acting.
Yeah,
around the attempt at his life in the square and stuff like that.
Right.
But at that fire chat side, even though she's like, I'm an independent contractor and all that, and the way she was talking in the fireside, I'm still like, I think if you keep showing these things, to me, that says this is going to come up later. Now, it could be one of those, I crossed you, and then you win me back, and I change, you know, and I do change and come help you. But
it's not a romantic comedy. That's a romantic comedy plot. It's like, you know, the boy, you know, the girl messes up, and then you got to win it back. Or maybe it is a romantic comedy. Maybe that's the twist. Maybe that's the plot twist.
Fennec is sitting on a shuttle.
Big city bounty hunter goes back to his hometown, meets up with his old flame.
They start playing some music from the 90s.
Right.
They're looking for a family and all around them where they should have just been looking at each other, and the family was there all along.
Oh my god. This is Hallmark Star Wars. Absolutely.
Oh my god. You know what? Let's not even talk about that out loud anymore, because I feel like the universe might hear us and make that happen.
And make it happen.
No, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I thought it was interesting. I was expecting them to like shoot up all the bikers and then leave one to like further interrogate, because that's a lot of killing without a lot of answers, right?
Nah,
right, because we don't know 100% that it was them, like or who
Fennec
was
did
behind
bring
it
that up.
sending them, all
Yeah,
that stuff. Yeah.
Fennec brought up a good point when she said those bikers couldn't handle Tuskens. So
Yeah.
Right.
she
Oh,
opened
now
that
by the
door up.
yeah. So pretty sure that the Pikes had some involvement in that to help out. I would imagine, or the Hutts and the Pikes. I mean, yeah, they're
somebody bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, she made a really great point on the fact that that group of Tusken Raiders, they've survived in the Dune Sea for such a long time. There's no way that just a bunch of bikers would annihilate that camp the way they did.
Yeah.
So,
I saw what Brent just wrote about how she's number 2. The other reason, kind of, she's an independent contractor.
Yes.
But there was a bounty on her. So why not, like, this dude saved you. He trusts you. He says you have my trust and respect. Yeah, I'm going to stick around with Boba. He might not be the same Boba as he was, but hey, I still got a bounty on me. Maybe I should stick around until something better comes along.
Better to have Boba watching your back than nobody.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. She's
I was
no Boba, but she still has
better
that
a Boba than a nobody.
There you go.
I like that. So Utah, what do you think? How far is Boba going to go with this thing? Is he going to see it through to the end and become a crime lord, or do you think that this is a means to an end, and once he's taken care of everything, tied up all the loose ends, he's walking away?
I feel like he seems really invested in the life of Tatooine. He seems really invested in what happens to this planet, and
he calls it his home.
He calls it his home, right?
He does, but is that just a ploy?
He says our home. Yeah.
No, I think.
You think that's legit?
I think that's legit. I think his years with the Sand People have opened his eyes and realized that like he said, you need a tribe. You can't do it all alone, right? And that's what he's looking for. He's looking to build a very much like a mafia family that's built on mutual respect and not the typical crime family sort of thing that's going on right now. So I think he's in it for the long haul. I think he's got something for Tatooine, and maybe he's got survivor's guilt and feels like he owes cleaning up Mos Espa and or Tatooine to the Sand People that took him in and took care of him. So we'll see. He's lots of Godfather stuff going on here. There are so many allusions to the Godfather. I love the sit down at the table. That was very Godfather.
Yeah.
I was
expecting a little Untouchables Capone action though when they were walking around the table. I was like,
waiting for someone to get it.
To start walking. Yeah, the guy at the end of the table that was
somebody
like
to die.
Yeah, I thought he was going
He'd be
out.
like, a baseball bat. Oh yeah.
Right.
That's what I thought was happening.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe BK was going to do something. I thought BK was going to, maybe.
I do like the fact that BK is now in the fold. That was
Was that random, that whole scene, or is there something that I'm completely missing? Sorry, I don't know.
Which scene?
Which scene?
In the casino or the bar, the whole BK thing, or was that just like show how he's just
look? Black Chrysanthemum has a thing against gambling. His father,
no,
was
those are Trandoshans.
Yeah,
and right. The Trandoshans enslaved the Wookiees.
Yeah,
Trandoshans and the Wookiees are mortal enemies, and he was watching them have a great time. And he's like,
I think Utah was kidding.
No, I can't live with this.
I don't think he's got a gambling. His father had a terrible gambling addiction,
right.
so
and he owed so much money to these loan sharks, and Pa Chrysanthemum and Ma Chrysanthemum were taken out, gone fishing.
I'm glad. I was just like I was adding all these things. I was like, okay, I think it's just like he feels alone. He sees they're having fun and they're all buddy. And
he doesn't like seeing Trandoshans prosper at all because he knows at home they've probably got Wookiee slaves, and so he's like
pelts. I mean, that was like among
that was a tribute, right? Didn't they bring a tribute to Boba?
They did, yeah. Among Trandoshans, that was like a rite of passage. You go and you kill a Wookiee, and you present its pelt to their goddess. I cannot remember her name, but the Trandoshans worship a hunting goddess, and the more pelts you present, the higher up in the afterlife you go. But that, again, that's in the books. What's happening now with Trandoshan culture? Who knows?
In Clone Wars, there's so they're the ones that have like the Deadliest Game episode where I think they're chasing Ahsoka. And they're all doing their hunting thing, and then there's a Jar Jar Binks head on display in their ship.
Right now, do we have any Star Trek fans in the group? Anyone? Okay, sure. So I kind of look at Trandoshans the same way as the Herodians from, I think it was Voyager. If you've watched Voyager.
No, I didn't watch Voyager. That's the one I didn't watch.
Okay. So the Herodians were a hunting species. That's all they did. Like, they did nothing. They were kind of like the Predator. There was like an entire civilization of the Predators.
That's all.
But I mean that was very much their thing. So if anyone's watching it is more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan, that's kind of like your connection. Herodians, Trandoshans, they're kind of like similar cultures. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I just love that whole scene in the sanctuary that had everything from, BK showing the animosity between Wookiees and Trandoshans. I love the googly eyes on the Trandoshans. That's some of the best CGI use
with
in the Star Wars.
Second lid.
Yeah, with the second lid. I mean, and then how expressive they were. Like when BK picked one up, he was like, "Wow!" Just all the fun stuff with that. I love Jennifer Beals.
She was great in that scene.
She's fantastic, talking BK down, and of
she
course,
didn't,
though. He only ripped off one arm. So to be fair,
that's what I love.
He only ripped off one. He compromised,
and then he pays his debt. He's like, "Nope, I pay my debts."
He had to try. But yeah, I also love the fact that we actually get to see a Wookiee tear somebody's arm off.
I mean, Han called it. Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee.
I mean,
win.
that's it. Beautiful. I love that, and I love that there's all these little nods. I don't know if that would be considered an Easter egg, or I don't know. Mr. Deacon's not here to dispute it, but I would definitely consider that a nod at the very least. That's definitely a Wookiee ripping someone's arm off. That is absolutely a nod.
Definitely recognition of what's been said before.
Yep,
I think that's an easy one, especially because it's anything from the original trilogy. I feel would be an easy one that most people would pick out as like, oh yeah,
there we go.
So
the scorekeeper.
Yeah, Brent, that is correct. Thank you, sir. That is correct. That's that was from Tales of the Bounty Hunters, I think, or Tales from the Moss Isles. No, I think it's Tales of the Bounty Hunters. There's like a whole thing in there about Bosk and his dad, and they have a terrible relationship. But
that's surprising. Not.
Yeah, Bosk has daddy issues. He has daddy issues big time. So, man, I got so much other stuff to talk about. But speaking of Bosk, so we'll just jump in. I'll circle back around, but it's because it's just on my mind. This is just on my mind. We hear the Mandalorian theme music.
At the end.
I think everybody, we
heard it twice.
We did hear it twice.
Right, because it happened. Mm-hmm. It was when he saw the flare, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, when the flares.
Because we knew that was that
battle.
How great is that? They're showing us the timestamps between this episode and what happened in the Mandalorian.
No need to do math. So thank you.
No need to do math. So now, do you think we can absolutely say that when Boba was riding into town on the Bantha and saw the trooper buckets on the pikes, that that actually was the mechanic, and perhaps she was going.
Oh, 100%.
She was probably going, and she was going to the hangar bay.
Yeah,
right. And she was going to the hangar bay to go meet the Mandalorian. Yeah. So now we know that those episodes happened, and that's the timeline.
That was all happening simultaneously. I love it. It's like
great. Nice,
when
callback.
The flares went up, it's getting to the point that they have so much content now that when those flares go up and the little Mandalorian, it's almost like in comic books when they mention something that happens in a different comic book.
Right.
There's a little asterisk.
Issue 23.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it could almost be like a little pop-up or whatever, like from episode whatever, like click here.
Remember VH1 and remember pop-up videos?
Oh, the pop-up videos?
Well, they would just have trivia pop up at the scene.
Yeah.
So like
that was awesome. That was such a good show. But Brent said it, man. If you weren't screaming at the TV at the end, you aren't a real fan.
That's
I mean,
fair.
not to be a gatekeeper. I mean, I don't want to be a gatekeeper or anything. But when I heard the Mandalorian theme, I mean,
it was so great. Wonderful timing too, right? Fennec says, well, if you've got the money, I know where you can find the muscle. And then you hear the music.
You know what, though? Oh, go ahead, Dino.
Well, no, so this is an interesting thing of the like gatekeeper and all that, because it's like, how many people that are in that and hear that are just because they're Mandalorian fans first, and then how many, so how many people started watching Boba Fett just because they are like soft fans that got into the Mandalorian and then got Boba and kind of like, oh yeah, I know that character, and started watching Boba Fett, and not people like, I guess, you guys who know why the Wookiee's mad at the gambling table. Because that went right over my head, right? So they're different gatekeepers. I'm the one that was like, oh, you like the Mandalorian? Yeah, you're gonna
right. But like, I wouldn't like. I don't want to, and I don't think Brent meant it in this way. But I know there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you're not a real fan if you don't like this." And I know Brent personally, and I don't think that he meant that at all. But
but there's Brent.
Right. It's like, but that's the thing. All it takes is one person to misunderstand. So Brent, I'm positive you didn't mean that in a negative light. But, there are people out there that feel that way. They feel that if you don't know everything about your fandom, then you're not a real fan. And that's just not the case at all. If you only like The Mandalorian because of it is a bunch of poodoo. Like, if you're only a fan of Baby Yoda, you don't even know that his name is Grogu. You just like Baby Yoda. And if it gets you to watch some Star Wars and consume some Star Wars content, okay, you're a real fan. If you just say, I like how Boba Fett looks, I don't know anything about him, but I think he looks cool, you're a real fan.
You're the entire Star Wars fan base.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's why the show exists, is because he looked cool.
He looked cool. That was it.
Yeah.
Like 6 lines of dialogue. He dies in like just in a dumb way.
Like the worst, clumsiest way.
He doesn't even get his bounty. It's handed to him by the Empire.
Yeah. Right. But you know what? Someone it was in the comment.
I wonder if Darth Vader got a refund though from like or I guess he didn't have to pay him at all if he didn't bring him in. But it's like,
I don't think
because he's hired. He had Bosk and IG-88 and all those guys were supposed to be looking for Luke, and in the end, they lured Luke there on their own. Like those bounty hunters are like, well, crap,
right?
There's my chance.
Someone in the chat or in the comments from last week's video brought up a good point. Because, we were talking about how there's really no proof of Boba's badassery. It's just assumed, it's implied, obviously from the books and blah, 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 whatever.
There's implications in the movies. It's just not explicit.
Well, right. I like the comment that Darth Vader wouldn't deal with, like, wusses.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the guy was saying. He was like, Vader isn't going to deal with some 2-bit, bounty hunter. He's
going to deal with
he pulled together
Mandalorian Toro, what's his face?
Yeah, the guy that shot Fennec.
Right.
That little punk, yeah.
The little punk.
Yeah, everybody who was on the bridge, of the Star Destroyer that day, they were top in their field.
Top tier, yeah.
Except for maybe Zuckuss. Zuckuss, I think, was the only one who wasn't top tier because he was a younger bounty hunter. He hadn't really been out on too many jobs, but he was teamed up with Forlom, and Forlom was a badass. So I think he kind of just... Like Zuckuss was like pulled in because of Forlom. But again,
just got out of the hospital.
Yeah, and Dengar,
he just got released from the hospital. He's still in the bandages.
Right.
He had hit his head on the same door that stormtrooper hit his head on.
Stormtrooper.
Those doors, man, it's just they're dangerous. They're dangerous.
You never know how high they're going to open. Sometimes they open all the way up. Sometimes a little. It just
But
I got it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, just since we mentioned the elite squad there, and I know that Fennec is also referring to the Mandalorian because of the music. That was the hint. But tell me you don't want to see Dengar and IG-88 show up or something. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask what you guys thought about, is
it's going to show up?
Just going to be Din, or is Fennec going to put out the
No.
call, and we're going to see the squad? We're going to
There's
see
gotta
Bo.
be more,
We're going to
right?
see. I mean, we're going to see maybe his clan, maybe his covert. You know, so whoever survived, you know, maybe
Bill
we'll see
Burr?
the armorer. Bill
Well,
Burr.
so-
No, we can leave Bill Burr. So
You don't want Mayfeld in there? Come on.
no, I don't want Mayfeld. Mayfeld. All right, I'll say Mayfeld. He had a very interesting story, but I'm mad about Lunchroom Trooper. I'm really mad about Lunchroom Trooper. I think
Okay,
that
that's
was
fair. All he was doing was going to get something to eat.
he just finished his shift. He had his coffee and a little tray of salad, and
Probably
he just
looking
wanted to
forward
sit.
probably looking forward to a FaceTime call with his wife or kid.
Yeah, he hadn't seen his kid in like 6 months.
Right.
And then Bill Burr, the asshole that he is. So anyway, so do we think that we're gonna see like the cavalry like coming in?
I
Well,
think
Dave
next
Filoni's-
episode is the getting the band back together episode that
Well, I
happened in season 2 of Mandalorian as well, where it's like, oh, we're going on this mission. Let me go get all my buds. So next episode, that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction.
Well, Dave Filoni is supposed to direct one of these episodes coming up, right?
Yeah.
So there are a couple things. So number one, if you think about it, all of the scenes that we've seen in the trailers coming up until this week, we've now seen, right? We don't have any hint as to what's coming up in the next couple of episodes. Whereas, you know, previously we're like, oh, we saw this in a trailer that hasn't happened yet. Now we're kind of totally blind. So now the speculation can run even more amok than usual. And Dave Filoni is supposed to be directing one of these episodes upcoming. And
Okay.
So you know somebody he created is coming in.
right,
Of course.
that's his MO.
Because like
right?
you said,
He's-
Jeff,
he's
you like to
gonna-
pat himself on the back, right?
Yeah.
Right, he's going to bring a character that he's created from one of his shows into live action. You know, we saw that with when he brought in Ahsoka. So now, in my mind, I'm trying to think who could that be?
Well,
And
I
I'm
think
sorry, I'm sorry, Tommy. Could it be Omega?
Fennec only knows. Well, Fennec doesn't know any of those people.
I'm
She
leaving.
knows. She
I'm
knows.
not coming back if that happens.
I mean, she knows she
She
hunted
knows
Omega,
Omega.
but we don't know. She knows who she is. I don't know if she knows. I mean, she tried to kill her.
We don't know if we don't know. No, she didn't try to kill her. She tried to bring her back alive.
Well, you know what I
but-
mean.
yeah.
I just meant she hunted her as a.
Right,
As
but
a-
we don't know if she knows the connection between
Right.
Boba
Her and
and
Boba,
Omega.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
But what I was getting at though is Fennec really only knows the Mandalorian. She only knows Din,
Right.
through the connections that they have.
Right.
You know, and so I
But then Din
I
could bring
think
somebody.
it would be more interesting to see some other bounty hunters because she's got connections just like Boba. That's where I think, you know, Dengar and IG-88, like I would like to see the squad get back together a little bit or something. You know what I mean?
I think everyone would.
Somebody like that. I would, number one, because I mean, I keep mentioning Dengar because he's like my favorite ridiculous character, right? Like,
Old diaper
like, it's
head.
just like, who is this guy? It's like literally they were like, we need one more bounty hunter. And they grabbed a stuntman, wrapped him in toilet. It's like your mom dressing you up as a mummy for Halloween, right? And wrapping you in toilet paper.
And he had bits
pushed
and
him out
pieces
there.
of different stormtrooper
Yeah.
and
Right.
AT-AT
It was-
trooper armor. It was like he had
Right,
this
it was
hodgepodge of armor.
But how cool would it be to see him like actually be cool and do something? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be cool. I don't
I
think
agree.
Bosk is invited though, because there might be a Kersantin thing, you know
Which
what
is
I mean?
that would make for great TV.
Which
that would make
be
for
great
very
TV.
entertaining, right?
That's true.
I would love to see Dengar, simply because he was always like second fiddle to Han. You know, Han is the one that fucked up his head and face in a pod racing or speeder bike incident, a race.
Right. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was a race of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, they were racing, and Han went by him and flashed him, and Dengar got all fucked up. But I think it would be nice because Dengar is the one who saves Boba Fett after he crawls out of the Sarlacc. So Dengar and his fiance save Boba Fett. Boba gets out on his own, but he's like naked and he's all fucked up, and you know, and it was Dengar who nurses him back to health, and they go on, you know, their adventure. So obviously that didn't happen here, but it would be a nice nod to bring Dengar back. I agree. I think that we do need. And speaking of armor and his gear and stuff, he mentioned for years and years, we always thought that Boba's armor was Durasteel because of the dent and the
Right.
different pock marks and things. But he said that it's Beskar.
He called it Beskar.
And so does that mean he doesn't remember the Jawas taking it?
He doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, that's the first time we've figured that out. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? There's no, your armor's not in there, man. And I'm like,
Don't you
wow, I guess
remember?
He was so out of it.
Yeah.
He wasn't
yeah.
fully recovered yet.
Sure.
I mean,
Right.
Are we? That's the silly part where it's like you're 100% healed now. I was like,
There's so many.
someone break that.
Can I
damn
say?
tank already.
Can I say that I'm sad that now that he's 100%, he's not going to go back to the tank.
So no more
And-
flashbacks?
No more flashbacks.
Are we done with that?
I mean, I think
He
we're
doesn't-
caught up for the most part, right?
Except for
Yeah,
him getting his armor. And that's the only thing. I mean, we're
Yeah, but we saw that in Mandalorian.
We saw that in yeah.
Right, but we saw some other things. But how does he make the connection? You know, does he hear about
that
this
happened
other?
in the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. But like, at what point does he become aware of Din? Because he starts following Din, and I think Din leads him to his armor because then he finally sees the marshal. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant. That's the only
my
name
assumption
you
is
know.
that Fennec tells him that she ran into another guy, another man, a Mandalorian.
Right. I ran into a guy that has armor like
And then
yours.
he hears
And then they go.
once Den shows up. Well, she probably he went and rescued her from her encounter with them,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So I'm sure he's like, so what happened to you? Oh, this Mandalorian and this happened and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, a Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
And then the next time Din's on Tatooine, words gets back. It's like, hey,
Right.
that guy's back. And he's like, let's go. Like, I don't know that needs to be shown, but I think that is, it's
It's a
I
fair
think it's fair
assumption.
to assume that.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting
I also
to see.
don't think we needed to see Jabba's kitchen. I feel like we're getting a lot of scenes
Oh, come on.
and a lot of locations where it's like, are we really needing that place? Do we really need that?
Absolutely. Come on. You didn't like General Clevis there with the
Hey,
Yeah.
that was
I
amazing.
love it.
So we played a
General
Star Wars
Cleavis.
role-playing game with some friends, and we had we actually reprogrammed a droid that we caught at some facility into a chef bot. So for when that came up, like I was like, oh my gosh, like our RPG just came to life. He works at Jabba's palace now. It was just
Nice.
like it's too
And I love
funny.
that
So,
General Clevis. I love
yeah, that's
that.
good.
I
couldn't.
absolutely love that.
And
I love it.
Clearly,
I had to say it.
clearly, security has always sucked at Jabba's planet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because they snuck in before in the originals, and it's just like, we need to sneak into the palace. Anyone can do it. And that
And
just
what-
shows he's not that smart that once he took over, he's like, you know what? I broke in through here. The Skywalkers broke in through here.
Let's
We
patch those
broke-
holes, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
But I
cover
know the
those up.
Skywalker walked in. They let him in.
Yeah, but Lando was in there already.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
had
but he was
already
part
had
of
this
his
whole-
crew,
this
though.
whole
Like,
plan.
I'm sure he showed up as a bounty
Lando
hunter.
was undercover, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
but-
part of the crew.
Still
I
infiltrated
guess he was
it, I feel like.
undercover.
And the droids were undercover also, weren't they? Wasn't
Yeah.
one of them
They were a
undercover?
gift. Yep.
They were a gift. Yeah.
That's right. They were a gift.
You may keep my droids, and C-3PO's like, excuse me?
What?
What?
What'd you say? So, Jamie, aka Mando Girl, she brought up a good point. Still nothing on that Tuscan woman.
I know. I guess
Yes,
she's just
that's
gone.
correct.
Is
She's
she just gone, or
And they
I
just
hope
didn't
she's-
acknowledge it.
unless she shows up for the final battle when the
I
rest of the
think-
crew comes in.
I feel like she's going to show up in the final battle.
That'll be
I feel
awesome.
like I also feel like obviously the Mandalorian's going to be hey, is he going to have the dark saber with him? That'd be kind of cool.
You know what? Something's going to happen. I'm going to predict it right now. I'll probably be wrong, but there's going to be a battle. Boba's going to get knocked on his ass. Someone's about to smash the shit out of him, and then we see a gaffy stick come in to block it, and it's going to be her. Ah! I would go crazy. I would go nuts. That would be. I love it. I love it. And yeah,
I think you're right.
And she also said about riding his emotional support rancor.
I was
That
wrong.
was nice.
I thought the
Though
whole
how
episode
tall
was gonna
how
be...
tall is that Rancor now? Because I thought there was like a pretty good drop, right?
Maybe he jumped.
Like
Well,
what-
I don't think that's the same because it was bigger. Like, it was the whole the hole that Jabba drops people on. I don't know. Maybe it is the same.
That was
one.
the throne room because the throne was right behind
the
him.
trap door
That's true.
is only like a square for one person, but that whole grate, when that
Well-
whole throne moves into the front of it, it's
He's been
So-
training it, so he might have one of those like they have in Best in Show, like a thing where he can jump onto.
Yeah,
To kind
it's
of
like a little gerbil
Yeah,
tunnels
Like
and
hamster
stuff.
cage
tunnel.
type thing. Yeah.
I'm just imagining Machete like up, just lift. Okay,
Machete.
put you on his shoulders.
All right, hurry up and push the claws through. Scare him and let's get done with this.
All right, so Brent brings up something interesting. So maybe Din goes down and Boba takes the dark saber.
Oh,
Dingoes,
wow!
and I'm like,
The only
"They're
way, well, and the only
Dingoes.
way,
A dingo stole my
baby.
dark saber.
The dingo ate your baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Man, I mean, technically he wouldn't be able to keep it because he didn't win it in combat. I mean, that's how it has to
That's
pass
fair.
from hand to
That's
hand.
true.
But he could still
Well,
pick it up and use it to defend someone. I don't know. God, there's so
do
many.
we see Moff Gideon at some point? Do you think he's?
No.
I think that's too much. I think that would be too much. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I mean, I love Moff Gideon. I would love to see way more of him, but I don't think we're going to see him in Book of Boba.
I think that he's just getting teased after he had such a good, after he was used so much, and they're lifting him up to be a bigger menace. I think it's just gonna, maybe if he's even there, it might be a tease or something. But I think that's kind of the nemesis for Mando.
I hope so,
Yeah.
because he went out kind of soft. He came in strong, but he went out kind of soft. But I think he was losing his mind at that point a little bit. It just seemed like Gideon had become unhinged.
Luke really screwed up his brain circuits there just by showing up.
Just by showing
You could
up,
tell.
it's like
Gideon was
Qua? Yeah.
Do we see
so
Luke
much?
in this?
No.
No. I don't
God,
think
Do
no.
we see Han?
No.
with his walker,
Well, they
right? And not a Skywalker, just a regular walker.
Just an
He'd
actual
be young
walker.
at this time.
Do they
No.
de-age him, or
Oh man, no! Stop.
No,
it.
he would
Just
be
put on someone new.
he'd be oldish. But yeah, I agree. I think that we need to see those Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters. We won't see IG-88, but we could see the rest
It
of
would be
them.
nice.
IG
it
be the only
nice,
one
it
we
would be a
see.
nice callback homage to see some of those, because that's the time. That's they've shown that they're not afraid to kind of dip back into the past and bring stuff in. So
Okay, so this might be, it's been a while. So in the first episode of Mandalorian, when there was that whole bounty shoot up to get to Baby Yoda, did we see their bounty hunters that had been in Empire?
No. I don't recall anything that was from Empire. I think there were some.
the closest thing was the IG unit,
Yeah.
Right.
which
That's
was a different
the only
one.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But I think it's going to kind of be along the same lines as the what is it with the Avengers movie where Endgame, yeah, where
On your
we're
left.
not going to see portal. Yeah, we're not going to see portals necessarily, but all of a sudden we're going to see Bo-Katan and her crew. The Night Owls are going to swoop in.
That'd be cool.
The clan members and the armorer who survived, they're going to swoop in. Maybe the OG bounty hunters, they're going to swoop in, because they're getting paid. And then now we've got this rogues gallery of some of the galaxy's baddest motherfuckers versus this giant Pike Hut, biker gang army over on this side. And they just turn Mos Espa into a war zone. And then it's like, they've got a Rancor instead of, they've got a Hulk. They've got a Rancor. Oh my God. And then, the Rancor is going to die. That's going to fuel Boba even more. And he's going to lose his emotional support Rancor. And it's just going to be this massive, massive battle of Mos Espa.
See, I don't think that we're gonna see the other Mandos.
You don't think so?
No, I mean Boba's got zero connection to them. He's never met them. Fennec wouldn't know them. They would only come because Din asked him to.
Right.
And
The only
I don't know
reason
that he
right.
would.
But I mean, if he feels the need for backup,
Maybe.
I mean, he doesn't have a lot of friends. I mean, that's all he's got. People are rumoring Ahsoka. I don't think we're going to see Ahsoka in this. I think that would be too much. as
Yeah,
well.
she's got
It
her
would
own
be
show coming, so
right. I mean, we've already seen her. She's already had her backdoor pilot, basically. So I don't think that we're gonna see her in this. I think that it might.
do
be
we see
too
Cara
much.
Dune?
See, that would be nice. That would be nice
Would
to see
that
her
be
come
kind
back
of a nice little
uncanceled.
comeback?
You know, just side kicking it up with Din.
I mean, that relationship was there.
But also,
and
Din has to get there. I don't know how he's going to do that now because
he doesn't have a Razor Crest.
I'd like to think that he got a new boat somewhere, but at the moment, his ship is just a hole in the ground.
And over
Is
there,
over there.
and
Is
over
over
there.
Yeah, he's not putting that back together. So, but I do think, go ahead. I agree with Jackie here. I do think we're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to see our Tusken lady.
And I agree with you, Tommy. I don't think she's gonna show up like lined up with the troops, with his army, so to speak. I think she shows up perhaps with more sand people from other tribes.
Oh God, that would be awesome.
Be the cavalry and kind of shore up.
See, I think that's more likely.
I think
than all these other characters, than an endgame scenario. I think Din comes. I think maybe some bounty hunters, but I think in the end, it's going to be Boba's going to get the Tuskens to take their planet back, take their land back, and it's going to be, you know what I'm saying? And that will be his army. I don't know, but I just feel like to me, that's more like
it fits, and it's not fan service. If we bring in all these other people, it's just fan service. Does it have a place? Not necessarily. Would it be fucking cool? Yeah. But does it fit the narrative? I think if, we're talking about, retribution, we're talking about, growth and rebirth and all these things, then I agree. I think, we're going to see maybe the female Tusken, maybe she's out there, uniting the other tribes, to come together and unify. And then that you're just, there's going to be this insurmountable force, surrounding. I think it's going to happen in Mos Espa outside the mayor's building, because that's just a cool.
It's like the town.
That's
square,
just a cool, right? It's like a cool standoff area, and then it's like Boba and Fennec and the few people they have, the mod gang. They're ready. They know it's a hopeless cause, but then off in the distance. You're going to hear it.
All these banta in single file.
Yep.
Well,
they're easily frightened, but they come back in greater numbers.
That's right.
Because are we going to see his banta that he lets loose? That's what I want.
Oh, what a touching moment that was, right? How cute was that?
I'm calling it here. I got wild calls, but I'm calling the banta's coming back into play.
Oh, so he's going to charge in and save Boba.
Yeah, it's not going to be the girl. It's going to be the banta.
That's the surprise warrior woman that Jamie was talking about.
Yeah.
The banta.
Okay. You know what? I would be okay with that.
over people that maybe already filmed the episode and need to be.
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with it.
I would do some reshoots.
They'll be all right. They can do it. They could do it. Oh man. So much stuff going on. The mods.
I love that
the
they
Techno
actually
Kid
called them that.
They did. They actually called them mods. So the Techno Kid. So if there was any confusion that was the reference, then that confusion is gone now.
Now it's canon.
Look who made it. Hey, there she is, Mando girl. Hey, welcome.
Hello. Sorry. Had to work a little late tonight, so.
That's okay. We're glad you made it.
You could make it.
All right, so we got to get. I know you were in the chat a little bit, but we got to hear from you. What are your thoughts? You heard everything that we were talking about. So what's going on? What do you think?
Best episode. Best episode so far. Oh man.
Should episode 4 actually be called A New Hope?
Oh, bum, bum, bum.
I think he's going to be hiring Din.
Look, Jackie said, "Here's the surprise warrior woman now."
Super excited about that. I made that comment about the warrior woman. I hope she does show up. I hope she is still around. And I think he's building his army. It's then at least the last couple episodes, it's going to go down. It's going to go down hard.
So we've got 3 left, right? We got 3 left.
I think so.
I think.
Yeah. I think you're right that we're not going to be looking at flashbacks anymore so much. And now from here, we're going to move forward to present day. And like I said, I think they definitely hinted about Din being muscle. I saw BK being working for him for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think we're finally getting on the pace that we all expected finally to be. So
I love it. All right, so
it was a really good episode.
so good. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, it was definitely a good episode.
So this is what I want to know from everybody. We have 3 episodes left. So as we get ready to close out the show tonight, we have 3 episodes left. How do we think it's going to go? Are we going to see giant battle, maybe a 2-parter, and then the last episode is just the cleanup, or are we going to get, or is that battle's going to wait until episode 6? So what are we thinking for 5, 6, and 7? How is this going to play out?
Sadly, I think they're formulaic now with those. So we can kind of see how in The Mandalorian they ramped it up, and so I think it's going to be probably the one episode getting the gang back together, and then it's going to be a 2-parter of the fight, right? Where the fight starts and there's a little bit like open-ended kind of issue in the fight, and then the final episode is just like completion of the fight, and everyone says bye and come see my new season coming up in a month or something like that.
Oh, do we know? Is there a season 2?
I don't know.
They haven't announced anything about that.
I haven't seen anything about a season 2. I don't know if we even need a season 2 necessarily. I think this could be a one-off, and we'd be done with it. But so I don't know. All right, so 5, 6, 7. What other predictions do we have? Jeff, you've been really quiet.
I haven't been
Hey,
quiet.
look, he just got back from hanging out with the Sand People, so give him some slack.
I think, well, before I tell you if there's one thing we didn't mention yet tonight.
Yeah.
Fire spray?
Is very careful not to call it Slave One.
Yes.
Yeah.
His fire spray gunship.
Yeah, which is the model of the ship. But
Which
not
technically
his
is
name.
correct still. Right.
Yeah.
I
just thought that was very subtly just kind of like threw that out there and did not call it Slave One the whole episode. I thought it was interesting.
Well,
Did they
handled that.
Did they call it Slave One in the prequels?
No, but I'm just saying that, like,
I don't think it's ever been. I don't think it's ever been called.
But that's
Slave
my
One in the
point. Like
films.
I think Slave One once.
I don't know if they did, but my point is, in the prequels maybe, but my point is, I just thought it was interesting, like even in this episode, you know what I mean? They just like, let's get people used to this is a fire spray model ship,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
And maybe, but he didn't call it, like he didn't give it a name, like the Razor Crest.
No.
Like, he told her what kind of ship it was.
Right.
I thought that was interesting rather than saying, I got to go get, my Slave One. Who's Slave One? My ship. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever. Do you know what I mean?
We heard that they were going to do that.
Am I Slave 2?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a nice conversation back and forth. I thought you were against slaves. I stole it from the, like whatever.
I thought I was Slave 1.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I just thought that was interesting. I'd been kind of waiting to see if he was going to get his ship back, and then when
they
he
handled it really nicely, right? I mean,
it was
very
interesting,
organic, very subtle.
But
I liked it.
But it was also like blaring to anyone who knows about the controversy and
and that's just it.
And
right?
loved that ship as a kid,
right?
Like this guy.
Yeah.
And so it was just, and I don't care. I'm not saying that there's a problem with them changing that. That's not it. I'm just saying, like, I thought it was like blaringly obvious that he didn't mention it. And I thought that was like, because because I knew about that stuff. Nobody else would have noticed, obviously.
It was
What's that?
It was purposely skirted around.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so too.
yeah. I mean, I know enough about that, and I had heard about different, different
Nice,
things
Tommy.
and how
Very nice.
How they trying to not say that name or slowly, just hush it away, if you will.
Yeah.
But,
I do find it interesting that
Oh, go ahead.
I think the only reason that, because I don't remember Slave One ever being mentioned by name in the films. I think it was mentioned in.
I don't think it has
Clone Wars.
In the books and the comics. I don't think it was. Was it mentioned in Clone Wars?
Was it mentioned? I feel like it was mentioned in one of the animated shows, and only once.
I think they might have. Yeah, I think they might have.
So like the whole Slave One moniker is really.
It's never been uttered on screen.
It's really Kenner's fault, right? It's the toy company's fault. Because I remember the box that he had saved Slave One with a trademark, mark on it. So, and I agree with Jeff. For me, even though I love that ship, and it's not that huge of a deal for me. I mean, the ship doesn't really change for me, whether it's Boba Fett's starship or his fire sprayer Slave One. But I do find it interesting. I agree with Jeff that it was a neat little subtle kind of, hey, by the way.
It's got a handle on the back, so you can.
Yeah, that was the best part.
So that was the best part.
I will say this: if they destroy it like the Razor Crest, I will cry.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
If they destroy Slave One, I'm done. I'm out.
They can't.
Any of the characters in that show could die tomorrow, and I would be mad if they blow up the ship.
100%.
Where are we going to get?
It's so cool.
I mean, it's an amazing show, and one of the best parts of the Mandalorian last season was seeing the inner workings of it, right? Because as a kid in my mind, I'm like, how does that ship work? It flies this way and lands this way, and the cockpit and the how does the people inside? And we got to see it, in motion with people inside. It was so.
I love how she falls out of the seat.
Onto the glass
in this episode.
It was great. Yeah,
I love it. All right,
so you asked about the 5-star. I'm sorry, I started
go ahead.
tangent.
But
no, I pretty much agree with Dino. I actually think we're gonna get a little more details on who they're actually fighting. You know what I mean? Like where it's gonna be revealed in the next episode, kind of like, oh, it's the
Crimson
Pikes.
Dawn.
They're behind. Crimson Dawn is there maybe, but somebody, whatever it is, the Pikes, the Hutts are behind it. They've teamed up. Whatever it is, that's what we're gonna find out next episode. You know what I mean? That we're gonna find out who they're actually going to have to battle. And that will be uncovered. And then, I hope the battle takes 2 episodes. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
Hold on. I don't know why I said hold on. So we got Luke. We got Luke, at the end of Mando 2. Are we going to see Obi-Wan at all? Is that too like on the wrong scale since that's...
Well, he's dead at this point.
Yeah, he's gone.
Dead. He's dead.
He's dead at this point. Yeah.
This happens he
died in New Hope.
After
this
Jedi,
is after
right?
Jedi.
Yeah,
you never really die. I'm just. I'm
Does he come back as a Force ghost? Because we all know Boba is Force sensitive.
I know.
Don't start. Do not.
That's a good place to stop, I guess. Now that's terrible.
I would like to see him play Captain Rex, but you don't want to have to kill Boba Fett to do it.
No.
I mean,
we've got the technology.
They got the technology to put people who look alike on the screen together.
Yeah, we don't.
They made a billion of them in the Clone Wars or in the movies, the prequels.
I mean, Boba and Captain Rex could hang out and party if they wanted to.
That would be amazing
And chill out.
That'd be pretty.
They got to be old though.
Yeah, they got to be old.
Because Rex is super old, right? Because he was. Because
he
had the white beard. He had the white beard and
old.
everything in Jedi. That was him in Jedi.
Or dead.
That was him in Jedi.
So it's Brent is asking. There's no real antagonist except for the mayor. Are we gonna get one now? Isn't it the Pikes? Aren't they?
I think the Pikes are.
I think they're setting up the Pikes as kind of the current big bad. But
they haven't really. They've been they've been the shot caller the whole time. But they've been kind of because when Boba went to see the representative, that guy was just cool. He was laid back. He was having a little drink. He was unconcerned. He was unbothered by Boba Fett's presence. He kind of punked Boba Fett.
Yeah.
There was no respect.
He really did. Yeah.
He was just kind of like, yeah, sorry, dude. Someone else got your money. I guess you're going to have to take care of it. He is completely unconcerned. So at that point, it's the Pikes are the ones pulling the strings. They might even be pulling the Hutt strings. They might have told the Hutts to back off. Either that or the Hutts were just like, you know what? This is about to get nasty. Yeah. We're out. We're going to let you guys kill each other. We're going to come back in and clean up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I think's happening with them.
Yeah, I think at the very end we're going to have a reveal where it's Crimson Dawn that's really behind a lot of this. That'll be how the season ends, which will set us up for season 2.
So you are a huge fan of Crimson Dawn.
I feel like, between Darth Maul being head of it and then now Kira being head of it, I would love to see some more of that kind of criminal activity going on, and I feel like Crimson Dawn would just be a great organization to kind of dirty things up a little bit, because we really don't know that much about them, right?
Wasn't Prince Jizor, wasn't he running Crimson Dawn? Him and his little android bodyguard girl, that because there was that whole during the whole Shadows of the Empire thing, Prince Jizor was he the head of the Black Dawn? Or was it Black Sun? No, it was Black Sun.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Crimson Dawn.
It wasn't Crimson Dawn. It was Black Sun. Yeah. Which that was cool too. That'd be kind of cool if Jizor showed up. But I think he's dead. He's dead by now too. If they go by the books, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. But I feel like the battle is going to bridge 2 episodes. I feel like we're going to start seeing the big battle, say halfway through episode 6, and there'll be a cliffhanger to start episode 7, and then they'll somehow Boba Fett and his friends, Boba and friends, will win, and then at the very end, there's going to be some kind of video call to Kira, and she'll be like, "Okay, I guess this Boba Fett's kind of serious."
See, that would be a great Saturday morning cartoon. Saturday morning cartoon, right? Boba and friends, yeah, animate it like the old '80s, cartoons.
Yeah, or
imagine Spider-Man and his amazing friends, except it's Boba.
It's Boba Fett and his amazing friends.
There you go.
Utah, you made a good point though there. If they're going to do that, if they're going to introduce her, it would be cool to make it like a final scene or an after credit scene, just like it was with Darth Maul in the Solo movie. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
exactly.
It's just like, somebody turns around.
Oh, by the way,
maybe Fennec turns around and opens up a hollow, and it's Kira, and it's like,
and she's talking to Kira,
and she's been working for Crimson Dawn the whole time. I mean, who knows?
I would love that.
Would it make more sense to have her in the Obi-Wan series if we're going to bring her back there in the Obi-Wan series?
Way, because I think they've hinted about creating a series revolving around her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people want to see more about her, but because depending on where they're at,
Clark.
Well, I mean, yeah, there is that.
There's really nothing wrong with that, is there?
I think, honestly, I don't think we're going to get another season. I think they're going to open up to another segue. They, I think, announced also a spinoff season for Bo-Katan. So I think they also brought up about a spinoff series for her as well. So I think you're on the right path, that they're gonna take out the Pikes, open up Tatooine, but it's gonna be a segue to the bigger fish, which is probably gonna be a Crimson Dawn, obviously. But I think that's kind of how they're gonna go. They're gonna start building the army. I think they did hint about having Din as part muscle, at least for this. So I think there's going to be some type of communication, possibly bringing him into this.
How disappointing would it be if he doesn't show up?
No, they're not going to drop that music on us.
Right? I see him
and not have him.
Yeah, no. The internet the internet rioted when they saw colorful speeders. Look at what happened. The internet melted down over colorful Power Ranger Mod Squad speeders. What do you think is going to happen if they drop the Mando theme on us and we not see DJARIN?
No,
all the tables are flipped. I hate you. And then we're done. And then we're done at that point.
He's going to show up as Fat Thor. He's like depressed. He's like just in a tank top. Like he's let his beard go.
Just drinking blue milk. It's spilling all over his tank top.
It's like, where's your helmet? I don't know.
It's like I had to pawn it. I had to pawn it to pay for Grogu's school. That Jedi Academy is not free. Luke sent me a bill. I had to pawn the Beskar. I still owed on the Razor Crest. So yeah.
All I got left is this tiny ball.
And, that's painful. And then the action figure would come out, and it would be Down on His Luck Din. That would be the name of the action figure.
Right.
Hasbro, make it happen.
It's
Down on His Luck Din.
In all
a wife beater.
Scruffy.
Yeah,
he's got a wife beater with a robe on. He's just holding the ball from his ship. That's all. That's
it. That's all he's got left.
And it's
that's
got
all I
the
need is a ball.
It has the green puke
that he's never washed out. That he's never washed out because it reminds him of Grogu. That's the spin-off show. That's the spin-off right there. That's the Mandalorian season 3 that we need. Down on His Luck Din. We need that. So
I lost my ship. I lost my baby.
You got nothing.
Right.
You got nothing.
There'll be a new theme song. It'll be a country song about losing his ship, his baby, armor.
All of it. All right, that's it. So final predictions. Like this is like definitive, no guesswork. Like, what do you believe in your heart? In your heart is going to happen next, Dino.
I keep saying the getting the band back together.
Okay.
And I could only hope it's like the best part of Anchorman 2 is them in that motorhome driving around and talking. So if that can somehow happen with all the heavy hitters would be great. But I mean, that's getting the band back together. I mean, you don't tease the theme music and not go see him and the other peeps. So
yeah, they better give us something. So while I got you here on screen, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh yeah, El Don Dino. That's the @ that you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also part of Oye Dímelo Network, which is a Latinx community of performers, writers, and artists. And you can find us on oyedimelo.com. And there's podcasts, there's different videos about screenwriting, even tattoo stories, and we also do a movie review thing. So yeah, cool. Look us up.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Jamie, final thoughts. What's happening?
I got to say to Jackie with her comment, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. He does look like him a lot.
He does.
Final thoughts. I think that there's going to be communication to Den. He's going to be on his way. I think they're definitely going to go after the Pikes in the next couple episodes. That's a for sure thing. So, but in the meantime, he's going to be building his army. So, final thoughts on it, though, for the season. Like I said, I think it's going to be a segue to Mandalorian season 3. Okay. And it's going to be a segue to something either about Crimson Dawn or going into like the Bo-Katan or something series later on. So,
okay. Yeah, you know what? I hadn't even really considered that until now because I'm dumb. But yeah, this is a perfect way to set up Mandalorian season 3. Perfect way. Hey, can we see your helmet one more time just because it's so freaking badass? I can't even stand how badass it is. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
That is a work of art, ladies and gentlemen. So where can they find you? God, it's sexy helmet.
Look at that purple.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? I missed it.
Brent's changing his range viewer. I can't remember not range viewer, but I can't remember what color he's going with. I think he's going with a blue or something. But we're waiting for that. But yeah, so I got my purple. So this is actually
you know what?
Helmet.
I think we should suit up for the last episode.
Oh.
Yes.
I think we should kit up. I'm kitting up for the last episode. We should do it. All right, so they're going to find you on TikTok. Nice. At Mando Girl?
Yep.
Blowing up on TikTok.
Yep.
Blowing up on TikTok. All right, Utah. Final thoughts. Whatever you feel in your heart. Not a guess, not a prediction. Like this is going to happen. What's going to happen? They're going to roll credits. I know.
I know they're going to roll the credits. And Kira's going to show up after the credits. No, seriously though, I do. Like everyone says, there's no way they're dropping that musical teaser and not bring the Mandalorian into this. I think Jamie's right that is actually brilliant. I think the end of the Book of Boba Fett is a perfect sort of segue into the next season of Mandalorian, because we now know that we now know where the timelines sync up based on what they've shown us in the past two episodes. So it's very easy to just kind of slip on into season 3. Who's Mando going to bring with him? I don't know for sure. I think that our next 2 episodes, or the next episode and a half, is going to be Boba gathering his friends and gathering the muscle in preparation for the coming turf war. I think we'll have a revelation about the mayor, because we haven't seen him in a little bit, and he's kind of I feel like he's way more important than just being a little pawn to all of this. So I feel like somewhere along the line, he's going to show up and give us a big revelation about something. I think the battle is going to be across the back half of episode 6 and the first half of episode 7. I think the cavalry comes in. I think the Tusken Raiders will be the people to save the day. And I feel like this feels to me like a one season show, like a one shot. I can't imagine. It feels to me that I think it would be better as just these 7 episodes, and then we're done, and then continue on with the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and whatever else. So, but that's my take. I want to see Kira in a post-credit scene.
All right. And where can people find you if they're looking for you?
Oh gosh, geez, I don't know. Ask Jeff.
Okay.
Well, you've got your own YouTube channel.
Ask Jeeves. Ask Jeff. Wait a minute. You have your own YouTube channel?
I wouldn't call it.
Tell the people, tell the 5 people watching what it is.
All right,
get some of that good cross promotion.
There is a YouTube channel that is allegedly an alleged YouTube channel called Utah and the Uke, where I did. There was a time where, in order to keep my sanity, I picked up the ukulele and started doing covers of songs every day for a good 100 days or so.
Oh wow! And
so they're all up there. Please, if you want to torture yourself for a little bit, by all means, take a look. I mean, I am at Co-Utah on most of all the social and anti-social platforms. And then otherwise, I'm with World Gone Geek, and Jeff can tell you about all that.
All righty. Jeff, take it away. So first, your heart of heart thoughts on what's happening next. What can we expect?
I don't have a lot different to say than what's already been said, really. I don't think we're going to see as many people as we've kind of discussed tonight, but I do think there'll be some throwbacks. Or I hope there's some throwbacks. Obviously Din is going to be there, but I'm not so sure about Bo and all the others, because I do think that this show is a one shot. I think it's going to tie directly to Mando 3. And I think that was the whole purpose of this. Technically, this is kind of the season 3 of Mando, because this is when it would have been on. Do you know what I mean? And instead, it's like, hey, we should go back and tell this story. And then they did, and then it'll come back into Mando. That's what I think is going to happen. And then if there is a Bo-Katan, it'll do the same thing. Do you know what I mean? They'll get a book of Bo-Katan or whatever, and it'll tie back into Mando 5 or whatever. I don't know,
right.
whatever
season that is. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's what's happening. I don't see these. I just don't see these as recurring, really.
Like continuing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could. Maybe it'll be interesting to see him run a criminal empire. I don't know, but I think it's going to be one time, and then let's get back to Mando. I think that's
okay. Because we could always follow back up with Boba in the new season of The Mandalorian.
That's what I'm saying. I think it'll tie in, and Mando and Boba will still be a part of it. Do you know what I mean? Somehow. Yeah. So I think that's probably more likely than another Boba. I'm not saying I wouldn't want another. I mean, I would watch it. But I just, I think that's probably what they're trying to do.
So let's use these to drive the Mandalorian a little bit more, because there's some really good storytelling. Because it like we talked about before, this is, Boba's an established legendary character, a beloved character. That's a burden. It is a burden to do this show. I mean, because there's a lot riding on this because of how beloved he is. But with But with the Mandalorian, it's a brand new, fresh character. We don't know, so there is no preconceived notions. There are no books that we're already in love with. We don't have, these ideas. So it's a little bit easier to weave that tale. But then if you're using these established beloved characters to help drive that story, and now we've got 2 seasons of Din Djarin, who is a beloved character.
Yeah.
Mostly because of Baby Yoda, but
Well,
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pedro Pascal.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, Pedro was, he's kind of hot too. So, Jeff, where can they find you? I mean, it says right there on your.
So
your
my gamer tag, Twitter tag, everywhere in the world, I'm Grounded Geek. But our show is at World Gun Geek, pretty much everywhere as well. We are on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe, please. And then we do a show every Sunday, 7 p.m. It drops as a podcast the next day. So we have a podcast. And we're going through some growing pains right now with some family issues. We missed an episode last week and stuff, but there's some really cool things coming. So make sure you follow us everywhere so you can stay
everywhere.
Yeah. Love it. All right. So that'll do. Does anybody have anything else before we head on out? Dino?
Yeah, this is kind of maybe real quick to take with you for the road, since Boba was teased in Mandalorian as Book of Boba. Is there any characters that from this season that you might want to be book of? For a new series that they find in this show.
Book of Omega.
Bomega.
Bomega.
Comment? No, Jackie.
Omega is going to be Mando's love interest in season 3.
That's weird.
Boo. Okay. No.
Hey,
absolutely not.
Oh.
I like Fennec. I like the character of Fennec Shand. I'd like to see more stuff about her. But do I want to see a series for Fennec Shand? I don't know. But
anyway,
I would like to know more about her.
I just wanted to bring that up before I forget, of just like, now that we know kind of what Disney is liking to do with Star Wars, it's like, who is the next book of that might be coming, is it going to be the Red Stapler? What do we got?
We still, you're right. We still haven't seen him yet.
He got a character poster.
He's got a poster
somehow.
He is. Maybe he's the shot caller. Maybe he's the guy because
he's the one pulling the strings.
Right. Brent had asked that right here. Every organization needs a leader. Who's calling the shots to start this war? Maybe it's him. Maybe he is the guy. I mean, he did walk up into the palace and he was extremely forthcoming. Yeah, nobody respects you, guy. Sorry. I mean, with all due respect, Mighty Daimo, nobody respects you.
Not even
I
me.
do,
I don't
of
respect
course,
you.
but
And who waits for people to get beat up and they're like, "Wow, you didn't beat them up."
You know what? I want him to get into his starship, and his starship is called the Red Stapler,
or the Swing Line,
or the Swing
It's
Line.
called the Swing Line.
That's
The
it.
Swing Line.
That's it. That would pass.
Happen, I'm sending.
But it would have to be written. It'd have to be written in Arabic on the side as an Easter egg. So you have to decipher
an Easter egg. That's right.
Yeah,
Vespas are pretty
love
colorful, so I could totally see a red stapler Vespa scooter coming around.
Oh God.
Jackie, stop drinking.
Oh my God.
You're drunk, Jackie. Go home. Go home, Jackie. You're drunk.
That's it, Jackie. You're cut off.
That's it. You're done.
Agree, though, we're all really hoping that the female Tusken warrior is still around and she will show up again.
Yeah, 100%.
She's definitely coming back.
I am
definitely
hoping
100%
with a whole bunch of friends.
Yes, and I want Hot Toys to make a 1/6 scale figure of her, so I can give more money to Sideshow.
There you go.
So bad. Anyway, we'll have to do a show just on Sideshow collectibles because
she's gonna have a spin-off, and it's gonna be the new Golden Girls, and it's the Tusken Girls. And
so that's it. No, it's gonna be her,
and the theme song is going to be sung in Tusken. So be.
So you know what?
Titles.
It'll be the Tusken Warrior. It'll be Kira, right? So she's one of the Golden Girls, and
Sabine?
No. What's her name? Not Jessica Biel. Jennifer Biel.
Jennifer
B.
Biel.
Arthur is in the canon.
Yeah, that's true. B. Arthur. Yeah.
B. Arthur is in the canon.
Well,
are they going to CGI B. Arthur onto someone?
No, she is she is one with the Force. Let her be one with the Force. We don't need to see a blue Force ghost. What was her name in the holiday special? I know Jackie knows this. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
What was her name? Jay Quellen. Jay Quellen, you're our only hope. Well, except for the internet. But what was her? Oh God! Here comes Daddy Louie at the buzzer with Bo-Katan sucks. At the buzzer, we're getting ready to wrap up. Bo-Katan, he had to get his shot in. I have been begging him. She sucks awesomeness because she's just so full of it. So she just sucks it and drinks it and she absorbs it and she exudes it. I have been begging Daddy Louie to come and do the show with us, but he's always busy, but not busy enough to drop a Bo-Katan shot on us. Not that busy to talk shit about our girl Bo.
Oh, look at Louie. He calls her
so
Boo
technically,
Katan.
you guys been part of the show now because, yeah.
Too funny.
Jeez. All right.
Well, so when
look at Tony's right. Tony's right. He told her to go home and now you're here. Yeah.
You told.
So no. Let's see
here
a
it is.
Cheers
Kamina.
Ina.
Perfect. Let's see a Cheers type sitcom in the Sanctuary with Jennifer Beals' character running that bar, and I mean, there you go.
Would that work? Do we think a Star Wars comedy would work? Like a Star Wars type sitcom? You think that would work?
It worked for the holidays.
Like Lower Decks, yeah.
I mean, the Lego Star Wars has been doing that for a while,
comedy, right?
Yeah.
Family Guy did a couple episodes.
All the Family Guy spoofs.
Yeah.
The Robot Chicken spoofs.
So a cantina where everyone knows your name. You think that could work at the Sanctuary?
I think that could work. And we know Max Rebo is alive because she called him Max.
She called him Max. Take it away, Max.
It's him.
Yeah.
So we know it's him. Gotta have that jizz music.
And thank you for joining us, everyone. That's our cue. On that note, on the jizz note, that's it's time to go. What did she say now? Sometimes you want to go to the cantina where everybody knows your name, or maybe not. Maybe you want to go where nobody knows your name. You're trying to hide out. Nobody knows your name, so
no Boba knows your name.
No Boba knows your name. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. Thanks to our amazing panel of guests. Look at that helmet. Look at that helmet. Jesus Christ. Look at it. Look at it.
Look at it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You feel thanks for joining us. Don't understand it.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for joining us in the chat, leaving your comments, except for Daddy Louie. Don't bother next time. Thanks. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go because I actually have a show to edit that airs on Friday. That's a new episode of the Krusty Cantina. So if you're into Star Wars and you're into like pub games and just crazy people doing crazy, stupid, nerdy stuff, come join us in the Krusty Cantina. It's a lot of fun. Doesn't matter what your level of Star Wars knowledge is or fandom. It doesn't matter. Everyone's welcome in the cantina. Just have a good time. So check that out. It's going to be Friday. That'll be premiering Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check it out. And, of course, follow Circle of Nerds everywhere. And that's going to be it. Anybody have anything on the way out? Nope. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. So thank you for joining us, everyone. And as always, if no one does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself. And we will see you next week for more Book of Boba. Bye. Bye.